Welcome to Three Devs and a Maybe, the podcast series for beginner web developers and general web enthusiasts. Now, introducing your show hosts, Michael Budd, Fraser Hart, Lewis Caines, and Ed Mann.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Three Devs and a Maybe. We're a bit light on the ground today because we've got no Ed Mann. He's not had a week off in ages, has he?
No, and that's why we're recording on Wednesday, isn't it? Because he couldn't do Sunday morning, so then we put it back to Wednesday, and then he selfishly had to work late this evening. So we're with that on today.
Yeah, and then he's got that whole Gloria Estefan concert thing he's going to. So
apparently he's doing the lighting. Was he doing the lighting or the makeup this time?
I think it's makeup. Yeah.
No, it's good that he's moving up the ranks anyway, because I remember when he started off, he was just carrying like bottles of water and tea and stuff.
Yeah, Waterboy. Waterboy is always where you start.
Yeah.
He's certainly moving up in the world anyway.
Yeah. He just loves glitter. Anything glitter, he just loves it. So I'm sure he's having a well of a time up there. But no Lou as well. He's a bit rammed, and to be honest, I'm still like dying from a cold. But yeah, I'm still here, and obviously you just heard Fraser Hart.
Hello.
And hello. And our special guest from last week, Sachin, has agreed to come on again.
Hi, hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
And we were also supposed to have a fourth guest on today, a colleague of mine, but he decided that he was going to watch the Great British Cook-Off with his folks rather than come on the show tonight. So we're expecting him possibly next weekend, or when we record next weekend. So I guess
I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people value that show.
I know
that they will miss things to watch that.
I know, it's bizarre. We've been trying to get him on for a little while, and he was supposed to come on originally on Sunday, but obviously we didn't record on Sunday. And then he was like, "Yeah, definitely coming in on Wednesday." So I said, "Okay, right, we're going to record at 8:30. Are you still up for it?" He's like, "Oh, that's when I watched Great British Cook-Off with my parents." It's like, yeah, I don't want to get him.
Did you not say, you can record that and watch it after, right?
I didn't even have that brain.
We have the technology now.
Yeah, there's these things called VHF tapes.
Yeah, that program it gets really controversial, doesn't it? Apparently,
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it as well. I don't know how controversial baking can get, to be honest with you. But
why did you say it?
Well, because Abby, she watched it now and again, and I think it was in the news, something really controversial happened, someone left something in the oven deliberately.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
He burnt his flan.
Absolutely, but
flan since I was a kid. I used to have those in primary school. It's amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, Fraser, a good week?
It's been good. Yeah, really quite stressful. I've had kind of coming to the end of a couple of freelance projects, so it's pretty much on the sprint to the finish. So I put one of them live yesterday, but I've been kind of literally. Yeah, all evening yesterday when I got home from work, I was working on this and then set it live on a DigitalOcean box. It's got its own VPS, which is pretty cool. So I've set up a brand new one of those yesterday. And then it's just kind of the final tweaks and stuff. But the client, I'm doing this project through a designer. So based on Lewis's recommendation last week, I've started using Trello, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, really good, isn't it?
It's just amazing. But I made the big mistake of kind of giving this designer, who's I guess the client for this project, access to this Trello, saying, "Oh, if you notice anything, put it on here," because it was just getting to the point where I was getting 3 or 4 emails saying, "Oh, I've just noticed this," and "Oh, can we just put this image in there rather than the current image?" So I was like, "All right, chuck it all in Trello."
Yeah,
I'll deal with it from there, but it's quite painful and
project creep.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it's kind of I've been sitting there with this window open on one of my screens, doing the work on the other screen, and then you'll see a glimpse out of the corner of your eye, and you'll look over, and he's added 3 more things. But it's in fairness, it's not really scope creep, so I shouldn't really grumble about it. But it's these things where you kind of the end is so close in sight, and
You know what? I was going to ask you this exact question tonight, right? Because I know you do a bit of freelance, and I've just done a bit, and I was really happy, got it all out of the way, fantastic.
Yeah.
And then suddenly now, all the emails "Oh, can you just change this a little bit? Can you change that a little bit? Can you do this?" It's well, I can, but you know what? Really, I wasn't given a design for some things, and that's my fault. I should have insisted on it.
Yep.
But those kind of things, you almost have to allow another month.
You do,
of little tweaks, and that is stressful. And I was going to ask you, does this stress you out? Because it stresses me out.
It really does, yeah. Because the thing is, because it's so close to, I set it live and I sent the invoice off last night, so it was kind of it was a huge weight off my shoulders to do that. But then it's kind of, I don't know. You kind of feel like you're there, but you're not quite there, and you don't know when you're going to be there. But in fairness, I've done work with this guy before, and when the project's done, that is literally it. Like he's really good. I've done a couple of projects before, and there is a bit of this back and forth, but it's to be expected. But once it's all said and done, he's happy and it's signed off and stuff. He's a great client. Well, he pays very, very punctually, and that's the last I'll hear of the project. And
no, that's fair play. That's a saving grace, isn't it? But yeah, that's interesting stuff. Yeah. So you've just been busy freelancing then?
Pretty much, yeah. Obviously been working the 9 to 5 during the day as well. Yeah. Had a full day of meetings yesterday up with the car manufacturer that we do some work for, which was always nice to go up to the offices because they're quite fancy offices. Like sports cars everywhere.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
So that was quite good, and it meant that I had a day of kind of sitting in the boss's car driving up north, and then sitting in the office in the boss's car driving back down south after 2 hours of meetings. So it was very nice to break it up. But yeah, just really busy in the office and just everything going on, to be honest. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend coming around. I can have a bit of downtime, hopefully, if I've got these freelance projects out of the way.
That's what I'm like about. I'm just living for the weekend. It's painful, isn't it? But
yeah. How are you getting on anyway? Are you balancing your work and your study life?
Yeah, this is exactly the thing, really, because I had that freelance work and I kind of thought, well, I can get it done just before I start my new academic year at uni. And obviously it trickled over, and that's caused a bit of chaos. And literally Friday afternoon, I finished work at about 3 o'clock because I'd done all my hours. And then literally within like half an hour, I just got this really sore throat, and I knew I was coming down with a cold. And so I've had that basically, and I've been trying to finish off the freelance and trying to do all my reading for my uni.
You've got the sun, stuff. Your house has come through.
Yeah, exactly. Got the house coming on. I think we're going to complete on Monday, and not complete, exchange on Monday. And like you say, got Toby. So yeah, you're basically trying to find extra hours in the day, and now I pretty much will do some sort of work between 10 and midnight. Those 2 hours, pretty precious now.
I kind of draw a line at 10 o'clock, and then 10 o'clock.
I'm in
bed. But then
I used to.
My laptop open on my stomach, and I'm watching like stuff on YouTube, people falling off bikes and stuff till like midnight anyway. So I may as well be working.
Yeah, exactly. But I've lost those hours. But I really can't complain, and I'm really, really happy with my module choices. So that's superb. Because it's nothing worse than having a really boring module that you just hate.
Oh yeah.
But they're both really, really good. One of them's super difficult, and it's no programming at all. It's all maths, and my maths is shocking. So that one's going to be interesting. I don't know if I'll survive that one, if I'm being honest, but it is really, really, really interesting. And in fact, I'll do this for you two while we're on Skype. In fact,
test our math skills.
Not quite, but for our listeners as well. So what I want you to do is with your left hand, draw a circle.
Oh, you sent us a message about this, didn't you?
I saw this actually. I was doing it on my laptop.
You're doing that now? And now do a square with your right hand at the same time.
That's quite tricky. Hang on.
Yeah, it should be pretty much impossible.
If you start with one hand, I think it's easier.
Yeah, of course, that's why.
So I think you should start at the same time. That's harder.
How quick do you have to draw the square as well? Because if you draw the square really slowly and you stop and think about it at every corner, it becomes quite doable.
But the interesting thing is, like what you're talking about there, do you not find that you start slowing down your left hand as well? Like when it's almost like
try to keep it the same pace.
Yeah.
So every time you turn a corner on your square, you then kind of
turn a corner with your on left your circle hand as well.
Yeah, you're like, wait, circles don't have corners.
But basically, that module is cognitive neural networks, and obviously it's looking at the way the mind works, and you can model computer systems based on that. But one of the really interesting things for me that came out of that was that you've got because basically in that field of science, they can basically do work on rats, monkeys, but the only humans they can work on is like people with epilepsy.
Right.
Because basically someone with severe epilepsy, one attack could kill them. It's that bad. So, but what they did with one person is they literally cut their brain in half, so there was no attachment between the two bits, and that's the only way really properly you could do the circle in one hand and the square on the other if you had that disconnection. I'm sure some people can.
Is we have to cut our brains in half.
I'm saying try it tonight, see what happens. Yeah.
20 curious listeners at home. It's an interesting experiment you can do.
exactly. But yeah, the rest of it is really complex stuff, and it's basically it talks about the I think it's called like the sodium potassium pump, and basically it just talks about the electrochemistry that makes the brain work, and it's really really interesting but pretty complicated.
Yeah,
so
sounds really cool.
I thought you were doing a master's in like Java development or something.
Yeah, like brain surgery.
Why does it sound like you're actually doing science?
So this module, it's like a cross-discipline one. It can be done like psychology, computer science, and I don't know, something else like midwifery or something. But it's really 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 good. Loving it. So so that's me in a nutshell basically. But
you were pulling down boxes of mini discs and stuff out of your loft as well, weren't you?
Yeah, clearing out the loft ready for the big house move, and like I said, admitted to you guys, it's pretty emotional actually. Like like Abby wasn't too impressed. She found like a load of like love letters from like girls to me, like when I was younger.
Oh no!
I think she found the funny side, but but loads of old photos, mini discs, like. Do you remember like mini discs with a future? I loved my mini disc player.
I never had one. I was always really jealous because it was when like 1998 was when I was at uni, and that was what everyone was kind of carrying around as like the cool new technology gadget, and I was really jealous that I didn't have one.
Yeah, I think my portable mini disc player cost me like £200 or something. Wow. It was really so now it's just collecting dust. It's ridiculous, but that's the way technology goes, isn't it? Either sinks or swims. But that's. Yeah, it's pretty much all done, but it has been pretty emotional. So,
bless.
Thanks, man. Sachin, I know pretty much how your week's been.
Oh, good. You can do my part for me then.
Yeah. He's been analysing everything you've been doing.
Yeah, I've been watching you. Well, actually, I will ask you how your week was in a minute. But one of the things I was going to bring up was obviously we had a team meeting together. Not just me and you. There was other people in that meeting. But
I was going to say that sounds quite like a date.
Yeah, Mike was actually role playing all the people in the room.
That's it. But one of the things that we talked about, I don't know if you heard this, Fraser, but I'm always really behind on anything that's like front endy or design wise. But we were talking about what's it, Google Web Design?
I knew you were going to bring that up. Yeah,
did you?
Yeah, I
you slated it basically.
I did. I called it. To quote, I said it's like a featureless Photoshop.
Yeah, you did. That was.
I don't know. I was using it because I had to make some HTML5 Google ads for a client, and I was like, okay. Well, I was really happy making the GIFs. And the client has asked me to redesign, and eventually we had like a client contact meeting, and he told me and another designer what he really wanted, and he gave us an example. So we're like, okay, we talked to him, and then we figured to use Google Web Designer to give it a shot, because you can do more things with that than not more things, but you can do different things than Photoshop or something like that. So yeah, the result was it was quite hard to use at first, but the result was the memory is like size of your final product is really small, and the quality is amazing. So I can see why people would use it, and I think it's really good for like SEO purposes, and stuff like that. So it is good, but I could not figure it out. And I love making videos and editing them. I do it for the company. I do it in my own time, and I use Adobe Premiere Pro, and it's got. I mean, that is solely for videos, so I'd understand why it has more features. But Google Web Designer kind of gives you some features of all the programs. But it's not enough to kind of fully get what you want. And I would not recommend designing anything in the program. I would recommend designing outside the program and then bringing it in.
So it's not really a commercial option, really.
Well, some believe that it's going to be kind of the new best thing, the thing to do, the most popular thing to do. It's going to kind of overtake, other programs that you would use to make the like ads and stuff. So it will become pretty mainstream. No, I mean, it's made by Google, so everyone, even playing field, it's not like someone knows how to use one program and then someone who uses a different program or something. Google make it, so they update it, so you guarantee it's going to work. So,
well, my kind of argument is the fact that it's free means that you can just kind of ignore a lot of things that are probably either missing or don't work so well. It's like the whole GIMP thing. I don't know if you've used GIMP.
I've got GIMP.
Okay, well, I like GIMP, and I think considering it's free, it's pretty good option.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, but the rest of your week's been all right.
Yeah, it's been busy that much, but it was work. Other than that, I feel bad because you guys are work. You got things to do, and me, you know, I'm a student. You know, I just come home, I relax, watch a bit of YouTube, go to the gym, come back, watch YouTube, play, we go out with my friends, and then come back home, eat, cup and do it all over again. You know?
Oh, wait till you get yourself into crippling debt and you need to start fighting your way out. That's when things start changing.
I'm losing you guys a little bit. I've got a lot of lag.
I'm losing Sash quite a bit.
Yeah, there was a little bit of lag out there as well.
Yeah. All right, we'll try to carry on, I guess. But Fraser, you went out with Lou the weekend.
I did,
well.
yeah, and Ed for a little bit. Yeah, we kind of met up with Ed, or Lou and I met up with Ed about 2:00 in the afternoon, and then Ed had to go off because he was going off to have dinner with his girlfriend and her friends or something rubbish like that. So yeah, he left us at about 5:00. Well, maybe earlier than that, maybe about 4:00. So we had a couple of beers in the wharf in Tunbridge, and then we went off to a pub not far from where Ed's going to be moving to, and just had a couple of beers in there. And it was an empty pub. It was a really nice kind of old looking pub. We went in there. There was only a couple of other people in there. So we had full reign of the dartboard, and we got maybe 6 beers inside us in that pub. They had a great jukebox as well. The jukebox was fantastic, like songs that you've not heard in years and years. But I grew up listening to 80s and 90s metal, and they had this jukebox which was just full of all these classics, and it was it was amazing. So yeah, we spent a bunch of time in there, and then we went to Wetherspoons and had some food, and then I left and got a taxi back with Lewis and his wife, and I promptly got home and kind of hugged the toilet for a little bit, and then fell asleep about 9:00.
Still living the dream. That's fantastic.
Yes. No, it was good. It was really good though. Yeah, really good fun. But yeah, shame you couldn't come out. But we'll drag you to the next one.
I definitely want to. I could do with it. But I know what you mean though with the jukebox thing, because one of the things I found in my loft was some old music books, tab books, for Radiohead.
Right.
And I knew there was a girl at work, and her brother's a guitarist, so I don't need him anymore. So I took him in, and basically his comment was, "Who are Radiohead?" And I still think of them as this up and coming.
Yeah, I thought they were one of the hottest bands ever at the moment. I've never really listened to them, but from what I always kind of assumed they were the big band.
Well, they always get a mention now. When I'm talking about music, someone always mentions them, so they're pretty popular still.
Yeah, because that Paranoid Android song must be coming up 20 years now, is it?
Oh man, don't say that.
Yeah, because I remember a mate of mine playing it when we were 17, so that's got to be 17, 16 years ago.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And he was running to it, and he was like, "Yeah, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard." And I think it had only just come out then.
You know what? You're right.
Wait, was it actually 20 years ago?
Nearly 20 years, yeah.
So I was just born.
That's insane.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh man, that's horrendous. Anyway, I do have a couple of web-related things for you guys. So I'll put it in the Skype window for anyone who's listening. Basically, the first one is, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce this. Is it Imagic or Imagic? I guess would make more sense. I'll probably sound like such a noob there, but you know how Ed hates it.
Is it just called iMagic?
Yeah, I think that's why it's the second time around, wasn't it? But yeah,
no, it's not.
Is it not?
It was still Imagic.
Well, I already hope that Ed edits this out. But basically, Ed usually gets really mad if I plug something I've not actually used. But I have actually used this, but I couldn't get it to work.
Okay.
But it seems
the same thing.
Yeah, he'll still be livid when he hears this. But basically, I think it's just a nice image manipulation tool. In the past, I've had used lots of third-party libraries and stuff, but this looked pretty good. But the only thing is, when I called the actual method to save it, so basically I was resizing an image and I just saved it, and I was getting no error messages back, but nothing was happening. Yeah. So it's quite frustrating. It looks really simple in theory. I imagine something really obvious going on, but I couldn't find any method that like returns the error messages or anything like that. Well, I imagine it's something to do with my file path that I was passing it, but it looks absolutely fine to me. So, and I checked my PHP INI, had support for it and everything. So I don't know, really weird. But if anyone who's listening knows like where I might have slipped up there, it'd be good to know. But it definitely looks like something that could save you time and really easy to use by the looks of things.
Well, it doesn't sound like that. Sounds like it's going to give you nothing but trouble.
Yeah, don't use it, basically.
So, anyone listening, don't ever use Imitation.
That is how it's pronounced. Anyway, the other thing I got is you're a bit of a JavaScript expert, Fraser, and you love your jQuery. So you might have already used this, but this is the first time I've ever really needed to do this. But just the way that some code, like some existing code I had, the way it was happening, I couldn't kind of like put in one fit that fixed everything because there was like several bits of code that was referring to this one bit of code.
Yep.
So what I did is I created a custom event.
Fantastic.
So I could say like every time this happens, create this event basically, and then I could then make other things listen for this event. So all in the different places that needed this, but needed to use it slightly different.
So do you basically compile a number of standard events into a single event?
No, not. Well, yeah, I guess kind of because
you watching for like is your new event now kind of looking for clicks and changes and mouse overs in different things, and it's just compiling it into one there?
Well, you could kind of do it for lots of different things. Yeah. So you could. It doesn't have to be in an event itself. So you could just say, well, like every time someone calls this function,
right,
trigger this event basically. So just so then other people can listen out to. It's like, oh, has this function been called? Yeah. And the other code could listen out and say, oh yeah, it has.
Ah, cool.
And then you might be able to, I don't know, maybe just log every time that function's been called or something like that.
Yeah.
But you could use it on different things. I mean, you could add that. So you could have like an event listener for on-click, like you were saying. And then you could have this event created every time that, an on-click it happens or something like that. You could use it for anything, basically.
Right, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you there in that, and the thing that I've put, which we'll put into the show notes, like, it shows you that I've added, like, free properties, like type, message, time. I think those ones are the ones you have to have. Yep. But you could add any object parameters you wanted to that event. And then when you're listening out for it, you can just access all those parameters and stuff. So it was perfect for what I needed today. Like I say, it's the first time it's ever come up that I needed it. But yeah, really useful and really simple to do as well, to be fair.
Cool.
So they were like my kind of only sort of programming related things I had. I don't know if you guys had anything, or obviously, Sash, I know you talked. Well, I brought it up about Web Designer, but I don't know if there's anything else you've played with this week. No, just lazy student. Yeah.
I did slate it, but I only did use it for about 3 or 4 hours, so I haven't gone quite into it. So I would. I mean, I know I liked it, but I wouldn't rule it out straight away. I'm going to go to it and if I can figure stuff out. I just wanted to put it out there before if you've been, talking about it completely. Everyone, I hate it. Bad. Might not be.
We should have like podcast episode awards, like worst internet connection would go to Sash without a doubt. And
you're getting the crack up as well, are you there?
Oh, really?
No, you sound fine to me there.
Mine would be worst pronunciation of a PHP method, but or library.
Oh, you never know, because we haven't found out definitively how to pronounce it yet, so you could be spot on.
I could have nailed it. I could have got it absolutely right, yeah. But yeah, Fraser, do you have anything related that you wanted to
Not really,
bring up?
The only thing new that I've been using this week is literally just Trello on Lewis's recommendation last week, and it is, I don't think I've even scratched the surface, but it is proper good.
Yeah.
And I can't really add too much more to it other than what Lewis was saying. If nobody was listening last week, all it is, it's basically like a task manager, would you call it? So or like just like a really nice way of having a to-do list. And you can kind of invite your clients and they can put loads of stuff and change things and everything. It's fantastic. It's really good though. And I was just looking as well, like on our stats, we're coming up to 52 episodes in less than a couple of months, aren't we? So like if anyone can kind of think of any suggestions as to what you'd like us to do for our year anniversary show, Or
or
because we were thinking of just doing it in a pub or kind of sitting around a table with a few beers. But if anyone's got any good suggestions, I think we'd be all ears for that.
That'd be amazing. I did have one other thing actually, just to bring up. Basically, I don't know how much you guys know about Alan Turing.
The Turing.
Does that ring a bell?
Rather, isn't it?
Yeah, the Turing machine.
Is that the
right?
Not the code breaking thing, is it?
Yes, yeah, good work. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's basically absolute legend in our field, and if you ask Ed about him, he'll just rant about him for hours. But basically, obviously, very famous English mathematician and computer scientist, really. And like you say, he kind of cracked the Enigma codes in World War II. But basically, they're bringing out. There's a film coming out about him called the Imitation Game, and it's got Benedict Cumberbatch, who I know of basically, but he's quite famous over here for like doing Sherlock Holmes and stuff on the BBC, and obviously he was in like the Star Trek movie. He's a big actor now, but that's coming out. I think like any month now. To be honest with you.
Oh, cool.
Well, that's pretty good. So for the anniversary of the podcast, we can all go and see the movie.
I think it's nice of them to actually release that film for our anniversary as well. That's really good.
Yeah, they're making it for us.
Yeah, because
exactly.
they are big fans of our show.
Massive fans. Yeah. But I mean, Sasha will know.
Shout out to Benedict Cumberbatch, just saying.
I think it's to Alan Turing. That's insensitive. Yeah.
Is Turing dead now?
Yeah, well, this is the really...
World War II was like 70 years ago, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know the story, and obviously, I don't know if it'd be very interesting, but basically, because he was gay, and after basically he pretty much saved us all in World War II, he basically got arrested for being gay, because obviously it was illegal back then.
Okay.
And he was like, chemically castrated.
Really?
Yeah, and basically he killed himself 2 years later. So it's it's pretty.
That's horrible.
It's a strong issue, and I mean basically he was an absolute hero, and that's what we did to him. So it's pretty shocking. But I mean Sachin. Well, I hope he knows. If he doesn't, then he should be shot. But there's the new building that's being built at.
Or chemically.
Oh yeah, I was going to mention that actually.
You were supposed to bring it up, were you?
Well, I was going to mention it before we went off the topic. Yeah, technically in front of our workplace.
Yeah.
The door is the new building they're building for the University of Kent.
Yep.
And it's called the Turing Building.
Correct.
Yeah.
So going back to the chemical castration. It's not the most uplifting topic in the world, but surely that's the most pointless thing in the world. Like because they did that to him for being gay.
Yeah.
But then surely the reason for castration is so you can't reproduce? Or is it just to humiliate or...
Yeah, I think it's like... I think from memory, and I might have this wrong, sorry listeners, but I think he was like given the choice of prison time or chemical castration, and obviously the chemical castration meant that he couldn't then perform gay activities.
Right, okay.
So,
I've just typed into Google and it says chemical castration is the administration of medication designed to reduce libido and sexual activity.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
just reduce it. I don't know how much it does, but
you can still get horny.
That'd be the worst, wouldn't it? But yeah, he's like you say, he did that, and the Turing machine. He was famous for like in the artificial intelligence world. He basically, his idea was that if you could make a computer program that would trick a human into thinking that the program was human, then that was true artificial intelligence. Again, I think that's my understanding. So sorry, listeners, I've got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what he did. And and that whole field, like obviously I did that in Leicester University, but it's really interesting. And you've got lots of things that came out of that. Like there was a software program called, I think it's called Eliza, which was like an AI bot. Basically, you could talk to. It was like a psychotherapist, and you could talk to it, and lots of people were tricked into thinking that Eliza was this psychotherapist. And I think you can still download that program now off the web.
Oh, it's a program. So do you use voice or do you type?
No, you like type to it. Yeah. Bear in mind, this probably came out in like the 50s or something.
Maybe
later, I don't know. But So an amazing guy basically. So that film would be, well, I think it'd be pretty good. So yeah, check it out when it comes out, obviously. But yeah, but that was about the last thing on my list of interesting things. So yeah, a bit of a short and sweet one, but obviously we are a bit light on the ground. But hopefully we'll have Edman back next week, and maybe Lou. Be good to have Lou back on. Oh, and your Bake Off guy.
Yeah.
If it's not like the final next week or something.
Yeah, it could be like the omnibus or something on Sunday, but I'll find out and see what he's saying. But,
so what's he do? Is he a PHP guy?
He is basically just one of these annoying geniuses. Like,
is he like Ed then? Is he?
Yeah, I'd say Ed on steroids. Like it's insane. I've been working on this project, on this .NET project.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a load of login stuff that's using Active Directory, and like bear in mind this kid's like, I say this kid, he's 20 years old, and this is his first job, and he's been self-taught since he was about 14. But he was basically, I couldn't have got the project up and running without him, because they gave us a load of this old code which is like 8 years old, and it logs in using Active Directory, and he's like, oh yeah, all you need to do is like, I didn't even know he knew C# and I didn't know he knew .NET at all, but so because he's been sitting there doing like front end stuff and doing a load of PHP and just like hammering out like APIs and all this kind of stuff, and then and he's like, oh, I know C#, I know .NET. And I was like, oh, can I get you to come and glance your eye over this? And he was like, oh yeah, well this logs in using Active Directory, so we need to install this on your IIS machine. And it's like, it just insane the amount of knowledge that he has, and it's really quite painful. Like, he's 14 years younger than me, and he knows 50 times more than me.
I was gonna say, how depressing is that?
Oh, it's brutal. But yeah, really good lad. Really likes his bacon.
I think either like him and Ed will either like get on really well, or they'll just want to kill each other. I don't know. It's like,
if they get really competitive against each other.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
They're both kind of like prodigies, aren't they? So
yeah.
Our podcast is like, we're never going to on again.
Yeah. Like,
this show.
Well, cool. Well, unless you guys have got anything else to say, I think we'll wrap up and keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I've got to get back to work and do some more freelance for another hour and a half.
Yeah, awesome. But like Fraser says, as always, if you have anything you'd like us to talk about, or you'd like to come on the show or promote your products or anything like that, please do. Is it contact@freedevsandmaybe.com?
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a few people contact us as well during the week. It's been really good to hear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Was it you that replied? No, it was Ed that replied to them, wasn't it?
Yeah. The guy who did the responsive CSS.
Absolute legend. Let me dig his name out so we can give him a big thank you.
We definitely should, yeah.
Do you want to mention what he's been doing for us? Or what for us?
From what I understand from the email that we got, he must have had a bit of a quiet weekend, and he listened to our podcast, and he was like, I'm going to make responsive styling for the site. And bear in mind, he doesn't have access to the HTML or anything like that. It's literally just all in CSS. He's just made it adapt to our code and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think has he put it in yet? Or I guess I can load it.
I don't think he has.
No, as far as I'm aware, I don't think he has. But that's still pretty damn cool. So
the guy's name is Sam Fleming, and his website is samfleming.me. And yeah, it's a great looking website as well. But absolute huge thanks for doing that. It's massively appreciated. Like,
definitely, yeah. I think Ed's trying to get him on the show as well. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah, I think we should really push for that.
Definitely.
He's not really up for it at the moment, but we're going to get him on. We'll drag him on.
Keep pressing.
But thank you so much, Sam. It's awesome of you. Very kind.
Awesome. Well, all right. Well, thanks you guys for co-presenting with me, and thanks guys for listening. We'll be back next week. Cheers.
Perfect. Take it easy.
Bye.
You've been listening to 3 Devs and a Maybe. You can contact us at contact@3devsandamaybe.com or follow us on Twitter at 3 Devs and a Maybe.